Welcome once again to Commander by Dana. Today, we continue our series building decks around the new legendary creatures from Battle for Baldur's Gate. This series will probably continue for a while, probably until Infinity spoiler season starts. Today's video focuses on the new green druid, Baru Wurmspeaker. Before we get started, I'd like to quickly ask you to like and subscribe. I've been very happy with the growth this channel has had so far, and I'm excited to see where we're going. If you're looking for ways to support the channel directly, you can head on over to patreon.com/Dana. One of the tiers is specifically set up for Commander. For only $25, I will build you a custom Commander deck based around your specifications, and even do a deck video on it. If you have questions about the deck, feel free to leave a comment. With that out of the way, let's get into the video. Baru Wurmspeaker is a 4-mana 3/3 legendary human druid. He gives all worms we control +2/+2 and trample. For the low cost of 8 mana, we can tap Baru and create a 4/4 green worm token. But this ability costs X less to activate, where X is the greatest power among worms we control. So Baru is the latest in a long line of legendary lords, but he's the first ever worm lord. You'd think that granting worms trample would be redundant, but there are a surprising amount of worms throughout Magic's 30-year history that don't have trample. Fortunately, as far as tribes go, worms are very cheap. With a couple of exceptions, worms are usually 25-cent commons. So this will be an ultra-budget build, coming in at a very affordable $50. But before we get into our deck list, we should keep in mind our checklist. 50 mana sources, usually split between 37 lands and 13 pieces of ramp, 10 pieces of card advantage, 8 to 10 pieces of spot removal, 2 to 3 board wipes, 2 pieces of graveyard hate, and 1 sudden I win card. Let's start with our worms. To start, we've got Soul Swallower, Bellowing Tangleworm, Dirt Cowl Worm, Cow Prowler, the original boy himself, Crawl Worm, Pathbreaker Worm, Primordial Worm, Raven Shroud Lindworm, Vigor Spore Worm, Bramble Worm, Carnage Worm, Duskdale Worm, Engulfing Slagworm, Greater Sandworm, Panglacial Worm, Palaka Worm, Penumbra Worm, Plated Slagworm, Quilled Slagworm, Siege Worm, Sifter Worm, Bookworm, Scaled Worm, and Impervious Great Worm. While not technically a worm, we are running a Sandworm Convergence for protection and creature generation, as well as an Overwhelming Stampede as our sudden I Win card. Our interaction consists of Blossoming Defense, Antamio's Safekeeping for protection, as well as Broken Bond, Naturalize, Rabid Bite, Ram Through, Return to Nature as our first piece of graveyard hate, Beast Within, Kalani Ambush, Krosan Grip, and Primal Command as our second piece of graveyard hate. Our board wipes consist of Hurricane, Whirlwind, and Bane of Progress. To help draw through our deck, we're running Vivian Reed, Colossal Majesty, Hunter's Insight, Garruk's Uprising, Harmonize, Momentous Fall, Glorious Sunrise, Rishkar's Expertise, and Kindred Summons. We also have a Regrowth for graveyard recursion. For mana ramp, we've got Soul Ring as our solitary mana rock, as well as Wild Growth, Rampant Growth, Cultivate, Kodama's Reach, Harrow, Search for Tomorrow, Explosive Vegetation, Migration Path, Ranger's Path, and Circuitous Route. For lands, we're keeping it simple and running 38 forests. So let's take a look at our deck and compare it to our checklist. 50 mana sources split between 38 lands, 11 pieces of ramp, and 1 MDFC, 10 pieces of card advantage, 11 pieces of spot removal, 3 board wipes, 2 pieces of graveyard hate, and 1 sudden I Win card. So our deck checks all the boxes and is under budget. We've got plenty of ramp and even a few lower cost worms so we can have a board presence. Our interaction is varied and we've got just the right amount of card draw. After all, this is a deck that probably won't be casting a ton of spells every turn. We want to draw a few cards, cast a Wyrm, and smash our opponents with our giant slithery boys. As far as upgrades go, there are numerous cards in green that make any deck you put them in more powerful. Worldly Tutor can find cards like Wurmcoil Engine or Worldspine Wurm. Doubling Season and Parallel Lives both have great synergy with our commander. Growing Rites of Itlamok is both good at digging for creatures and generating mana. Exploration and Burgeoning are both amazing 1-drops in green and can lead to explosive starts. Zendikar Resurgent can be a little expensive at 7 mana, but well worth it in a deck like this. For additional card draw, you can run Sylvan Library or Guardian Project. Finally, for improved mana ramp, I recommend Nature's Lord, 3 Visits, and Skyshroud Claim. Of course, these upgrades are pricey. Some of them are only a few dollars, while others are quite a bit more. But if money isn't a problem, feel free to pick up some of them and add them to your own version of the deck. How are you building Baru Wurmspeaker? Leave a comment below. Thanks for tuning in. Once again, a huge shout out to my editor Cute Stuff. I couldn't make these videos without her. If you'd like to hire her to edit your own videos, there's a link to her Fiverr page below. I also wanted to give a quick shout out to all of my patrons, Jiraiya, Waffles, Muffins, Casey, Danny, Nick, and Marcus. You guys are awesome. I post new Commander Deck videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, or you can click here to watch additional videos. Also, if you're a fan of anime and manga like I am, feel free to check out my other channel, Musings by Danon. Again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you all again next time on Commander by Danon.